throw them out. I want to bring out Jonathan Duffy and Kelly Williams. And the person you're really here to see, Jason Mantzoukas.
So tell me a little bit about where this story came from.
Yeah, actually, so a buddy of mine, Nat Sanders, a former Austinite, was, he befriended a drifter, and...
I don't know, are we allowed to say drifter? He befriended a drifter.
And, yeah.
Doing great. Doing great.
And anyway, I just thought it was such a classic tale of, you know, he decided to take this guy with him. He was heading to LA. He did not make it all the way to LA with this guy. He dropped the guy off halfway along the trip, and I just thought, you know, this is like, it is such a classic story. It sort of follows planes, trains, and automobiles, and, you know, just sort of classic odd couple buddy comedies, and why not try my hand doing that?
Absolutely. And it's really, Jason, you are amazing in this movie. You really are terrific.
I'm listening.
It's very hard to imagine this movie without your two leads. How did you find them? What was that process like?
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood, baby. We met at the Hollywood Club.
I did a bit.
The Hollywood Club. Piles of cocaine. Where all business is done.
I've been a fan of Jason's from the League, obviously. and also of Tony's and really everyone in the movie. And so it was sort of a no-brainer. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
That was very fun. It was very, from my point of view, getting to do, you know, because a lot of it is Tony and I, you know, locked in a car. You know, it was really, and he and I didn't know each other. And so what a kind of great bit of luck in casting that Hannah, I feel like, felt like, oh, these two people would work well together. And it did. It was really fun. It was like, you are at times watching us both having fun discovery moments and also both of us losing our minds.
You have tremendous chemistry together. I mean,
yes.
Take that act on the road.
You know what? In 1 month here at the Paramount, Tony Revolori, Jason Mantzoukas, two-man show. Taking it on the road.
Don't tease us.
There's going to be a minivan on stage. A stage production of The Long Dumb Road. There are songs. They are not good, but they are songs, technically.
Did you guys do a lot of improvisation?
None.
None.
Word perfect. Hannah's like an Amy Sherman Palladino type over here. That's a period, not a comma.
This is going really well.
I think we're crushing it.
Any fans fans of A Teacher here? Did you see Hannah Fidell's other movie? It's an amazing movie. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. A lovely little cookie in there for fans.
Yeah.
The main characters of her other movie appear for a second when they're hitching a ride to Albuquerque. And I had to rewind it when I watched it. I thought that was just
To be fair, they appear as cookies.
Fair.
I think we were, I don't think you were in the van, but we were in the van together, sort of losing our minds in the midst of production. We're like, okay, what if there's a cinematic universe that we can create? Right.
The Fideliverse.
And somehow we got them to come back and do that.
Well, I hope you bring these guys back for your next one. How did you guys get involved?
We made another movie with Hannah called 6 Years, in between A Teacher and this one. And so when she called us up about
Shot
this
in
film,
Austin.
Shot in Austin, yeah, you can find it on Netflix or iTunes. And then, Hannah called us up and we read the script and it was kind of amazing. And we knew, the idea of Hannah doing a comedy was super appealing to us because she's got a keen sense of humor that we knew, even though everything else, 6 Years was some serious drama. But yeah, so it was something we jumped at the opportunity to work with.
That's great. Well, it's an amazing cast. I'm sure these guys have questions. Let's go ahead and open it up.
There's a microphone here. There's a microphone here. Line up. There are obviously thousands of you who want to ask questions. Be respectful. Don't crowd. Guys, calm down. Guys, calm down. Don't crowd. Don't go crazy. Don't be violent.
Let's start with you, sir.
In addition to being a fan of your previous work, I'm also a fan of Carson Mell's film,
Oh, yeah.
Evil.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you could talk about your screenwriting collaboration with him.
Sure. So Carson is just a dear friend of mine, and we are both friends with this guy, Nat, who I mentioned before. And so we wanted something to work together on, and I think it was a perfect pairing because Carson, for those of you who don't know, is a comedy writer. He writes on Silicon Valley. He had his own show on TBS. And so, he brought a lot of the jokes and I brought the stakes, the drama.
You brought the steaks.
The stakes.
Like a solid prime rib, a hanger.
Yeah, but no, he's a genius, truly. If you guys haven't seen Another Evil, you should. It's awesome.
And he's great in the movie as the guy that I get into a bar fight with in the pool scene bar. The bar scene pool fight.
Yeah.
Right? He's playing pool. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Over here, you, sir.
I was wondering how much of this film was shot on location, and if so, what was that like? Shooting just kind of all over.
I'll field this. We shot this entire movie on stages in London. Studios, shouts to everybody, to Nigel, in Pinewood, everybody that was so helpful. The whole movie, and this is gonna blow your mind, the whole movie is shot on stages in London.
No fucking way.
What was that?
Our budget, $35 million. You see every dollar on screen. Why? Because we shot it all on a stage in London.
Over here, sir.
After you had the idea, after the story of one of your friends, how did that kind of evolve to the final, what we see? Basically a script-to-screen question, I guess.
Sure. We originally made this just as an improvisational.
Just super quick. You guys taking off? So we'll see you later. Very cool that you're taking off. Awesome during the Q&A. Fuck those people. You guys
originally made a short that was an improvisational exercise before we made 6 years, actually. So that was just a way for me to figure out how to shoot improv with 2 cameras. I'd never shot with 2 cameras before. And so my film 6 years was all improv. This film, not that case at all, but out of that exercise, Carson and I fell in love with the characters, and specifically with the character of Richard, and we just had to, first of all, we kept talking like Richard, and it just became clear that this character was going to be an important part in our creative lives. So, also it was a fun excuse to hang out.
Thank you very much.
Over here.
Hi. So filmmaking obviously is a process full of obstacles here and there. I'm just curious if there were any big obstacles in the production of this movie, and if they ever put it in danger during production or anything like that.
Surprise windstorm?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here, you guys take that.
I mean, the gas station scene was shot during like a huge snowstorm. We had to drive out there during that. That was also the gas station from Hell or High Water. Fun fact.
Everywhere we shot was in Hell or High Water.
There's a number, if you watch Hell or High Water very closely, you can see us in the background shooting scenes from this movie. Just in the background, pretty subtle, I will say. It's a good watch. It's a good second watch. Sorry, go ahead.
Over here.
So you just mentioned how Richard was this character that was important to your creative life. So when or how did Richard become Jason? Like, was it just obvious? Is that who you were picturing?
No, you weren't.
No, we weren't. But you know, as happens, you get a list from a casting director, and
Denzel. Damon. I mean, these are the names. Hemsworth. That's right, Luke Hemsworth is way above where I am right now.
they all wanted to do the movie.
All the Hemsworths were in. They wanted to do it together as a trio. The 3 Richards, they called it, not Richard III.
As soon as I saw Jason's name on this list as someone who was available.
That's all it takes, baby. Jason Mantzoukas is technically available. Let's do it.
I remember when we first met, I was such a fan that my voice kept cracking. Like
Yes. Well, and to be fair, at that point, I did think you were a boy going
it was just very clear as soon as we saw who, wasn't booked up.
They had to get someone. Turns out I was free. Not working, in other words. Lucky me. They could shackle me to a minivan outside of Albuquerque. I will say for me, it really was like, and I know this because, I read this script when it was an open, it was a job that was open that I was going to meet on, and Tony had already been cast, and I watched a teacher, and Hannah and I had coffee in Highland Park in Los Angeles, and it was that kind of like, we didn't know each other, we knew people in common, but we had like a coffee that lasted for like 3 hours. It was delightful, and I was like, I genuinely hope I get this job. And guess what, guys? I didn't. It is Billy Crudup on the screen in makeup to look like me. The whole movie, Crudup.
I'm thrilled about the selection. Me too.
You, sir?
Jason, did you have to do a lot of character research for this?
Yes. So much. I learned learned how to fix a car. I apprenticed for 2 years. For 2 years. And a lot of that went into, you don't see me do a lot of car stuff, but boy did I learn a lot. I lived on the road, out of a backpack for about 8 months. Just hitchhiking, picking up having experiences with people and places. Yeah, no, I did quite a bit of research. No, I didn't do any research.
Is there going to be a blooper reel? Because I don't know how you guys.
Gotta get those bloops, you know what I'm talking about? Got to get those bloops. Yeah, that's a great question. Are we gonna see those bloops?
I think we are. Also,
Yeah.
I feel like when we were shooting, you and Tony would just keep doing things for the blooper reels.
Yes. Anybody? Show of hands. Anybody out here an actor? Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Do things for the blooper reel. Do takes that are just for the blooper reel that look right down the lens and say, that's for the blooper reel.
Sure. Hi. I thought that the dialogue was superb and like the interaction and the comedic timing, and I was just wondering how much of that was improv or how much of that was like, settle down, Jason. Like yeah.
Settle down, Jason.
That's how I directed you.
Yes. Settle down, Jason.
It was about 70% scripted, and then the other 30% was letting the guys go wild.
It's nice. I will say it was very nice, like, especially in scenes where you are in the van driving, like, and you, because there was, like, Hannah and Carson wrote a great script, but, like, when you're in there and you kind of get it, you know, it was very nice to be able to be like, okay, we're now going to just take 2 more drives of this run and, like, let's see what happens. And that was fun, you know, that was great. And Tony very game for all of that, which was great.
Well, I will say too, just back to the casting question, you know, part of it is you hire actors that you trust to do that part. And Jason, I mean, you just like, you understood that character. You nailed it. So, yeah.
Wait, am I winning something right now?
Sure.
This is exciting! By the way, I love that the microphones have their own spotlights.
Over here.
I was wondering if I could ask you a question.
No. Sit back down. By the way, you would be a hero if you sat down right now.
I was wondering if I could get one of those beautiful t-shirts that you have up there.
That's your question? You already know the t-shirt is beautiful?
Yeah, let's do
I'll
it.
give this fucking guy a t-shirt. Okay.
Over here.
Jason, I really enjoyed the role. I thought it
Thank you!
seemed kind of like a more raw, honest version of Rafi and some other characters that you've played.
Okay, I don't know any of those other characters. I erased them from my mind for every new performance.
Create some of the outward absurdities of that character, and I was wondering if you could talk about kind of how you enjoy playing this role and how it compares to kind of other roles that you've played.
Well, you know, as you mentioned, I play a lot of like chaotic kind of monster characters, charming sociopaths, vulnerable monsters, whatever you want to say. But I am not often asked or called upon to do something that has an arc to it, that has like a true beginning, middle, and an end. That I believe in this movie Richard has. You know, like more often than not, I'm called upon to come in to be weird, gross, or perverted in 2 to 6 episodes of a television show. And so it was actually quite lovely to, while there is certainly elements of that kind of chaotic nature, and I did truly delight in both what was in the script and also like actually just going at Tony. who is really fun to play off of and fun to kind of mix it up with. There was truly like emotional stuff in this movie that, you know, genuinely I've never been asked to do before and never have had to kind of coordinate or think about or process an emotional journey that has that kind of growth to it. And that in and of itself for me to do this movie was really exciting. To not just be like sprinkled in kind of spice, like weirdo guy. Here I am, perverted uncle, which is coming out, by the way, in December. Here I am, perverted uncle. Guys, please don't steal that movie title. So no, it was actually, I loved doing this because it was truly like doing something with someone that is a relationship-based story that I'm integrally involved with, that I'm not just kind of an ancillary part of. So get the fuck out of here. Kumite, you get it.
It is interesting because you really are terrific in the movie, and you're kind of coming over to the drama side a little bit, and you're coming over to the comedy side a little bit.
Oh no, that was incredibly helpful. You know, to have Hannah and to have Tony in the scenes like itself, like really was like, and Casey Wilson and that stuff like was really, really wonderful for me because more often than not, as I'm sure Hannah can attest to, I am prone to just do, if you guys can believe it, like nonsense bits. So.
Any favorite nonsense bits that didn't make it into the film?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything because I will be releasing my actor's cut. Movies have director's cuts. I'm releasing an actor's cut. It's 8 hours long. Sadly, Tony is not in it.
Okay, let's go over here.
So this one's for Hannah. Was there anything particular with this movie that you learned that you didn't necessarily learn from like past movies? Anything that was just very specific to the journey of this creation?
Yeah, I learned a ton. I think the nature of a road trip movie is that you have a lot of locations, and that requires, especially for car driving stuff, a lot of setups, and it just takes longer than I'm used to, because normally when I've shot stuff, it's been in only a handful of locations. And so it was just sort of a masterclass in the reality of shooting truly very, very quickly. And we did not have, you know, as many days as we probably should have. And
a shirtless junkie came up to Tony and was like, you gotta get all these people out of here. Tony came up to me and was like, hey, does this sound weird? This guy just came up to me and I was like, yeah, man, that 100% sounds weird. We should probably get out of here.
The funny thing is, I don't think you're kidding.
Oh, no, I'm not kidding. It was like crazo sketchy. But like also had that like electricity of doing a thing. Like, this is fucking nuts. We're doing this. I felt very excited. It was, I will say, Albuquerque, New Mexico, like very interesting to shoot in and around. Thank you, Albuquerque.
Yeah. Have you guys seen Breaking Bad?
The movie? My favorite scene to shoot was, I loved the bar scene, the introductory bar scene with Grace Gummer and Thaisa Farmiga, actually. I thought that was like such a, I thought that was just really fun, and I loved them and all of that stuff, and we shot all of that in one big, it was just like, that was a really fun, that was like a big fun piece to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought the scene with you and Casey was incredible because it was a long production night in general, and it had been really cold for several days, and it's like, when the crew was kind of watching you guys, it was one of those moments where people were just covering their mouths laughing.
Oh, good.
So it was
Laughing with us.
Yeah, I think it would be the Casey
Yep.
stuff. That was really, that was great. That was great. Also, I just love that actress who plays her daughter.
Oh yeah, Sierra.
And there's something about her character that I
Every,
oddly related to.
every line of hers is perfect.
Yeah.
She's like an assassin.
Yeah.
Every line is like kaboom. She's like, oof, withering lines. She's great.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. And our last man here.
Oh, guys, I want everybody to know, this is the last question. He speaks for you all.
I understand that this is based on your friend Nat's story. I was just curious if you've seen the Finding Francis episode of Nathan for You, and whether or not the idea of someone named Nathan helping this random dude find his lost love, whether that factored in at any level of
That
production.
episode was done and came out like a year after we made this movie. But that is an amazing episode of
I've
television.
not seen it.
It is the season finale of Nathan, or the series finale actually of Nathan for You.
Is that why everyone was telling me to watch that?
Perhaps, but it is. If you're not watching Nathan for You on a macro level, watch the show. It's like genuinely one of the funniest comedies, or one of the funniest shows on television, one of the most interesting shows on television, and that particular episode is pretty wonderful.
He's my new nemesis.
He should be. Don't you worry about it.
Well, I would say this is one of the most interesting movies.
Really? One of the most interesting?
One of the most! Maybe now is the time to throw out these t-shirts and get out of here.
We'll throw these t-shirts.